This was a first case for the International Court of Justice. They'd never had a case quite like this. And so we just didn't know how the judges would react to different types of arguments. They'd had cases on sovereignty. They'd had cases on human rights. They'd had cases on environment. They'd never had a case on Indigenous people's rights. And the government encouraged us to work very closely with those communities in seeking to gather the evidence as to what had happened. I have to say, at a personal level, that was a completely fascinating experience.
The temptation for the lawyers was to just cut and paste from international standards. And I managed to persuade the people funding the project that what they should actually do is take the lawyers on fieldwork to go and live in some indigenous communities around the Congo and actually understand what the issues facing the indigenous people were, so that the law that they wrote would address the real issues and not simply generic standard and formula.
I used to count petals and spend my day as a taxonomist. So I would sit during my master's and just spend 8 hours a day in front of plants. And fortunately, I did my PhD in ethnobotany. So I spent time with amazing people. I have no ambition to be a lawyer, but I could really help my friends to put them in touch with lawyers.
I mean, sitting in meetings and being kind of like, I've never felt so crap about being an anthropologist and not being a lawyer, kind of like as when I was doing my fieldwork. Because I can tell you the story and I can kind of like, write the side story, but I can't get up and actually do things.
Lawyers don't think like anthropologists, and anthropologists don't necessarily think like lawyers. But no lawyer could ever get anywhere without the anthropologist.
I would have benefited from being accompanied by an anthropologist when I was trying to take witness statements. You explained to us how other people see soil and earth and land is something that needs to be explained to companies, to lawyers, to everybody.
There's really deep-seated racism about hunter-gatherers and a nomadic or semi-nomadic way of life. So changing these kinds of prejudices is perhaps the most crucial thing.
I mean, I'll just leave you with something that I kept in mind when I was doing fieldwork, as I was trying to learn about them and kind of like the way that they think about the world. Just because we don't get what they're trying to say doesn't mean that they're not true.